Steph Curry, Klay Thompson against Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelce, the match today, 3:30 p.m. TNT. You going to watch?
Yeah, on my phone. We'll be driving down to Carmel right after the show. So people from the station that want me to do things right after the show, listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. I'm all focused about my 12U baseball team.
So
Big
we're going
game,
down to Carmel
5 o'clock in Carmel tonight.
Wow, you got to hurry up and get down there.
You feel me? You feel me? Me and Jimbo and some of the boys are driving on down there. Then Michelle's meeting me down once she gets off of work.
I'll be in Monterey this weekend, too.
You going to come support us?
Well, we're driving down tomorrow. I don't think Anna's going to be too thrilled with going to watch Little League baseball.
Wear, layered clothing and come support us for 2 full hours.
Friday?
There's music.
Friday? What time?
We don't know. Win or lose tonight, we'll know what time we play Friday and Saturday.
We'll see.
Double elimination.
How far is Carmel from Monterey?
Everything's within 15 minutes.
15 minutes, Carmel to Monterey? Maybe.
About that. It'll be busy this weekend, so the late afternoon and stuff might have a little traffic.
You'll know where we're at by the sound of our bats. You can hear us.
Or the lack of?
No. We hit. Pitching.
Is Charlie playing?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't want to put any of their business out in the street, but his attitude wasn't the greatest the other day, and I got on him. But he's going to be playing at shortstop in game 1.
So you know what, Charlie? If I come out there, you better get your ass in gear, little man. All right, let's go.
Me? Attitude is everything in life.
I'll get Bad News Bears out there on you.
It's a shame. It's embarrassing.
The original Bad News Bears. I go out there and start throwing some coolers for a Little League game. The lowest moment, you want to talk about rock bottom for me, was probably betting on Little League baseball. Williamsport. This kid from Hawaii.
You were betting. Who did you put a bet in?
I forget. It was Hawaii.
Was it
somebody.
Online or like one of those? I'll meet you around at 7-Eleven.
No, it wasn't one of those. I don't do those anymore. Hey. Those could go around.
Give me the Northwest. The Pacific Northwest Washington squad over Hawaii.
Safeway parking lot. We're talking about fingers getting cut off. I don't mess with them dudes.
So you bet on a Little League World Series game.
Yeah.
What'd you bet? Over under or clear winner or what?
I forgot what the exact. I think it was run line.
B.
Over under was something.
B.
But this kid from Hawaii.
Look me in the face. Don't do that again.
No, I know. I told you that was rock bottom. The kid hit a grounder from Hawaii. And he got thrown at the first base. Big play. I said, damn it, get your fat ass down the line. I screamed at the television.
You know who you sound like now?
Who?
The San Bruno 8-year-old team that I heard the other day on the field screaming at their kids to hustle.
Dude. And
Tercy, I'm talking to you guys.
That moment after the game when they lost and I lost my money, I said, you know what? I got a problem. This is not good. I can't be betting on games in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. That's sad.
I can't believe you bet on Little League World Series.
Dude, and I had to chair up. Dibs, I think Dibs does too.
Up?
Oh, dude, I was ready to roll.
Were you arguing balls and strikes?
I was locked in. The intros, everything.
They're 12.
I know. The starting lineups, everything. I may have to do it again in August. I don't know. All right, we got Carlos. We got Joe Hawks back here. By the way,
I cannot believe you bet on a Little League. That would literally be like betting on my 12 because they're 12.
Yeah,
that's like betting on one of our games.
I would bet on Little Charlie that hit a home run.
Well, I was
that guy. I was that guy. Wow. I would bet on Little Charlie.
Oh my God!
I can't help it. By the way, I want to shout out somebody, programming assistant here at Odyssey. Our guy Joe Hawks. I first got the 95-70 game. Went over to an A's game. He was the first guy I ever sat with in the press box. And he's been trying to get here for so long, and the persistence. My guy's been a staple here in the Bay Area for a long, long time. He's going to be helping us out here. And we just got stronger as a company. Joe Hawks is a big boy out here, man. So congrats and welcome to the team. Don't get too comfortable around here. He's already itching for the mic. Look at him, man. He's like right on Spinotti's shoulder.
I can't get over that you're betting on Little League World Series games, bro.
I'm telling you, Chinese Taipei, somebody knows this. Chinese Taipei, Taiwan, them boys.
How do you even know who to bet on? You don't even know who's pitching.
Dude, you do the scouting, man. These teams are rolling 10-run rules.
Curacao had a team a few years
exactly.
ago. Profar's little brother.
Dude, them international teams are loaded. Those are easy money. You put them in every parlay. You can parlay Little League games and Major League Baseball games.
So instead of Pats or pass, you're Chinese Taipei or no?
Yeah, Chinese. Dude, they were easy money. Let's get Carlos on here. Carlos, man, look. He can't bet because he works at NBC Sports Bay Area on the Giants pre- and post-game show. But Carlos, come on.
Dude,
listen, man. I was balling on the budget, Carlos, and we know you love you. We're going to talk about Logan Webb, what happened in the first inning yesterday. But, You can't hate me for betting on Little League Baseball. It's fair game, right?
That's foul ball.
Thank you.
Come on, Carlos.
That's foul ball.
I was balling on the butt. I was living check to check, Carlos.
I draw the line on kids sports.
Thank you.
Foul ball.
No, well, I did say.
Thank you.
I did say it was rock bottom for me in my life. It was rock bottom for me. I can't be yelling at kids for running down to first base by half speed. You know what I'm saying? Now, the kid, to his credit from Hawaii, was busting his ass. He did bust. Like, it was big play, but I was so disgusted. I mean, it's a problem. I get it. I went to rehab for gambling. Not really, but I stopped betting on a Little League World Series after that. I haven't bet on it in 4 years.
I don't even know what the truth is.
No. I'm with Joe here. That's wrong, and I don't endorse it. I hope you found the light, brother.
That's a Carlos.
Dark place.
Carlos, I did find a light. It was a very dark place.
All right, Carlos, I got to get in here. This is ridiculous.
This is ridiculous.
All right, first off, you're doing a great job on the pre- and post-game show. And the other day, I actually had referenced this in the show. You sent me a little message on the side. But the truth being is that, I got a lot of family members on my wife's side of the family who are bilingual or they live in dual places. And so maybe I'm a little more sensitive to other people. But when I see somebody of that age, Luis Matos, in his second language, I don't even know if he speaks English at all, but he's speaking to you in Spanish and he's trying to assimilate to big league baseball, okay? That's its own difficulty, which Casey Schmidt is going through right now in itself, but there's a cultural learning curve. Then there's the language learning curve. And this guy's doing all of that, and just by the eye test, it looks like he belongs. Like, I don't think people realize how special this kid is.
First of all, thank you guys both for the kind words and tweets and messaging. Yeah, it's a thing. And a couple months ago when the season started, it's something that Gabe Kapler brought into the light, talking about Taro Estrada, and we addressed it on an interview for NBC Sports Bay Area, where Gabe was saying that he thinks it's a huge disadvantage for players, specifically for Latino players, or players who don't speak English. That applies to Japanese players as well, but or Asian players for that matter. But he was referencing Spanish-speaking players like Tyro, that they're not able to communicate with umpires now with new rules, and something happens. And again, the easy answer as well, they should learn English, but it's easier said than done. Some of these players have been brought up in Latin American countries from very scarce resources and from slums or very impoverished zones with low education rates. Some of them start playing baseball when they're kids and have to devote every single minute of their time to playing ball and not going to school. And some of them just can't pick it up. It's that simple. So it's a big issue. Some of them are able to deal with it, like Wilmer Flores, who learns English, I kid you not, by watching Friends. That's where Friends, the Rembrandt song is his batting song, because he learned English by watching the show. Some can do it. I mean, I was lucky enough to have parents who gave me the tool as a kid, and they brought me here when I was 6 years old to live here for a year with my mom, and then go back, and they would only speak to me in English, so I wouldn't lose my vocabulary and my accent. So, I mean, I was lucky. I mean, not many players can do that, and that's a big hurdle. And to have Latino players in your clubhouse, and this is something I was talking about yesterday with Dave Stewart at the station. I was saying, I asked, and I'm going to ask you guys a question. The same question I asked Stu. Can you guys name a single MLB play-by-play Latino broadcaster in English?
Ooh. Wow. Joe Angel?
I mean, maybe one.
Joe Angel was Latino, right?
Yeah, but...
And he was doing our Giants radio for a long time, and he didn't do Baltimore Orioles.
Great question. I mean, for how diverse the game is, there really is a lack of diversity on the broadcasting front, both radio and television. Wow, that's a good. I know Boog Shambi, although a white guy, I know that he was in Miami for a long time, and so I know he's very well versed in the Cuban culture, but that doesn't mean that he speaks Spanish or any of that. I can't think of one.
So my point is, there's none. I mean, there's none, and. From opening day, 30% of MLB rosters have Latino players. I mean, 30% of MLB is Latino. And I'm not saying this because I think it should be just an equality play or an equality move. I think it's a smart move because the more Latinos you have calling games and doing things that I can do, the better we can communicate with players and have them feel more comfortable and translate what they do, how they feel, where they come from, tell their stories. I just think there should be a better reflection of how Latino the sport is on the broadcasting side, and that's why I'm so proud to be on NBC Sports Bay Area and be one of those.
Well, you're crushing it.
No, you're doing a hell of a job. No, you're
man.
doing a hell of a job, man. You're finding your groove. It's words we shared over the weekend, man. You're doing a hell of a job. But you know that. And, I still got to get on you for the suits and stuff like that. Art of a Gentleman. Check it out. Carlos Ramirez getting on me about pocket squares and ties. Anyway, Luis Matos, speaking of him. Listen, Carlos.
Put the gun away.
I love Luis Matos. I have a problem right now with the lineup. This kid, no matter what, I have a problem with him batting 8th and 9th. I want to see this kid at the top of the order, first, second, or third. He's got the speed. He makes things happen on the base pass. He has a great eye. He takes a lot of pitches.
He works the count.
He needs to be up in the count. And I know you got Tyro Estrada. And I would love to see Lamont Wade Jr., Tyro Estrada, Luis Matos back to back to back and flip the game. And just throw speed out there, and then you get to the power. But right now, I just feel like he's batting a little too low in the lineup for me, Carlos.
Yeah, I mean, he's still trying to figure out some stuff. Luis is from an offensive perspective. There's stuff that's really good, some that he'll have to adjust to, which is normal for any single hitter coming up to the big leagues. His chase rate is really good. I mean, when you compare it to other hitters that have come up through the system this early, like so far, just to put it into context, right? Casey Schmidt, that's his big issue right now is chase rate. We did a breakdown yesterday on Casey and what his major issue is. He is leading baseball in chase rate. And chase rate, with that, it might sound fancy. It's pretty simple. It's how many balls you swing at, period. The more you swing, the worse, because you're swinging at bad pitches. So he is swinging, Casey is, at 48% of balls, basically half of pitches he's seeing, he is swinging at. That's not good. That leads the major. On contrast, Luis Matos' chase rate is 20%. So it's less than half of Casey Schmidt's. So his discipline is really good. What I think the Giants want to do with Matos is they want to have two leadoff hitters in the lineup. One on the top of the order, and that's Lamont Wade Jr. He is third in baseball in on-base percentage. Only Luis Ariz and Juan Soto have a better on-base percentage than Lamont Wade Jr. But then when you put in Luis Matos hitting seventh or sixth, then you have your second leadoff hitter at the middle or bottom of the lineup that's followed by the Brandon Crawfords or Blake Sables or Casey Schmidts or guys who have a bit more pop or more power. But then you have the 1-2 combination, and you would have two leadoff hitters at all times in the middle of that lineup. I hear what you're saying, and that might be a good strategy going forward. I don't hate seeing Luis hitting 6th or 7th just because of that purpose. You're giving your lineup a second time around, and you're not giving another that day's pitcher you're giving him a different guy who will extract and drain more pitches out of you just because of Luis' discipline in that 6 or 7 hole.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that one. I just think when you have Jock batting in the 2 hole, I don't love Jock there. You know, when they did that the other day, I would have probably preferred to see Matos, but he's 21, right? So I understand all sides of this one. I'm really worried about their outfield health right now. Haniger is out for the foreseeable future. Yastrzemski not being in there, you take a defensive, dip, and then now Conforto gets hurt. Are we just going to see Austin Slater? Are they going to bring up Bryce Johnson to play more? Or Wisely? Could we see one of these guys from AA, like, I don't know, Luciano or somebody get elevated and maybe learn to play the outfield in the AAA? Like, what are they going to do at the big league level for their outfield? Because right now, I'm a little worried with the health.
Well, Yaz hasn't played since June 21st, so we're coming up close on that date for him to come back. Remember that hamstring injury wasn't as severe, and initially it was thought that he wouldn't have to go to the IL. So the fact that he is, I mean, we're just coming up close on that date, so he'll come back at some point, I would guess, next week. Today's Thursday, so my guess would be that he'd be back for the next homestand. That would be my guess. So that clears a spot. So you would have him, Matos, and whoever's going to play on left field, because you'd put Mike at right, then Luis playing center field,
Yes.
and whoever, either Slater, if you're going to face a lefty, you could put Sable, who's done a heck of a
That's
job,
a good
by
point.
the way.
Yeah.
You could put Sable there at left, facing, if you want to face a righty, you could play Sable there.
You think Wade? You think Wade goes back out to the outfield or nah?
I wouldn't want to move. I mean, if you're asking me,
I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't want to move him back there. He's done such a good job playing first base this season. Plus, you've had options. You have Bryce Johnson there. You could put him there. And I don't think Michael's injury, again, from what we're told, isn't that severe, isn't that, egregious. So he might have a similar path to the one Yastrzemski is following, maybe go to the IL for 10 days just to not rush him back and have him come back. But again, the timeline is not ideal, but Mike should be back next week at the latest. And again, listen, I think we need to give Blake Sable some love. This kid is basically learning how to catch/play left field on a major league level, plus adapting to hitting. He was leading baseball in chase rate after a month or so, and his numbers have come way down.
Yeah.
He's had several clutch at-bats. So I think he's done a really good job adjusting to that left field spot as well.
Great throw yesterday, too.
Yeah, great throw. He looks more natural there with the glove playing left field. So he might be the answer to the problem so far this season, at least on this stretch with the injuries in the outfield.
All right, man. Carlos Ramirez here on the Morning Rush on 95.7 Game, doing a hell of a job on Giants pre- and post-game on NBC Sports Bay Area. Football season's coming, so you'll see him then, too. The guy never sleeps. You guys think I don't sleep. Look at Carlos' schedule, man. The guy's doing podcasts, radio shows, working out. I don't know how he does it. But this pitching staff, let's get there. Because I said yesterday, I believe the Giants have a World Series-type bullpen. They have a bullpen that could thrive in the postseason with Camilo Duvall, the Rogers brothers. I really like where they're at. My concern, obviously, is everybody's concern, the starting pitching. And when you don't get 7 from Logan Webb, like you didn't yesterday, where he gives up 5 in the first inning, didn't have his best stuff, which basically, I think that his all-star hopes are dead. Giants got to get some pitching here. When do you think Farhan will get active? Because this is a league full of buyers right now, Carlos. But there's no doubt they need another arm here that could get them 6 or 7, maybe 2 arms.
Yeah, it's a seller's market because of what you said. Now with the new rules from last season and having more teams vying for a wild card spot, then you have more teams that are going to be buyers and not sellers. So I think there's 2 ways the Giants are going to go about this. One is to obviously go to the market and try to get a starting pitcher, but how much is that going to cost? And by much, I'm not talking about dollars. I'm talking about pieces. And yesterday we're having this conversation on Post Game Live, and we're talking about either Kyle Harrison or Carson Wisenhunt. Like, will we see them? Randy said he thought we would. I'm saying it depends on the trade deadline. And what I mean by that is, I don't think the Angels are going to trade Ohtani because they're in the middle of it. They're 1 game ahead in the wild card spot, even though I think the teams behind them or chasing them are better, like the Astros. But let's just, for debate's sake, for radio talk's sake, let's just say the Angels, come to terms with the fact that Ohtani is going to leave, and they don't want to miss him. They don't want to lose him for nothing, right? And they go and say, okay, you know what? He's available. I think the best value the Giants have right now for Kyle Harrison is with him pitching in AAA, being a prospect. What I mean by that is, and that's the point I was trying to make yesterday, is a prospect's value is highest or it's at its peak when he is a prospect, unless, like, he makes his day for trade purposes, right? Because you are selling hope. You can't sell hope if you bring him up and he gets knocked around. Or if you bring him up and he delivers, then you're not going to trade him, right? You're going to keep him.
Right.
So if you are not sure what you have with Kyle Harrison or Carson Wisenhunt, you're not going to bring him up because there's a risk that he might lose value. He might lose trade value. It's not the same coming up to Artie Moreno and the Angels and saying, hey, here's the number 1 left-handed pitching prospect in baseball.
14th overall.
You can have him alongside so-and-so and so, Luciano, or whoever you want to throw in there. Give us Ohtani. It's not the same as saying, hey, here's this kid who we brought up in July, and he got knocked around in Denver or at Oracle or wherever, right? Because you're selling hope. So if you're in the chase for a guy, and I would only give up Kyle Harrison if that means bringing Shohei Ohtani here. That's the only way I Carlos Ramirez, would consider trading Kyle Harrison. That's it. No one else. If you're not going to go that route, then we might see Kyle or Carson Wisenhunt. The other thing you can do is go to the market and target Marcus Stroman or Shane Bieber or Lucas Giolito. Honestly, I don't love any of those names aside from Stroman, maybe Bieber. The other route, which is, I think, more Giant-like, is reinforce your strength. And that's go to the bullpen and really stock up in arms with your bullpen. And there are names there like Daniel Bard, Scott Barlow, Aroldis Chapman, Jose Cisnero from the Tigers. You got Carl Edwards Jr. from the Nationals. You got some names there that you can go. Michael Fulmer from the Cubs, maybe Kendall Graveman, maybe a guy like Joe Kelly who knows the NL West with his past as a Dodger. There are names there that you can bring in and really stock up and have a bullpen. And, okay, you know what? This is our strength. Let's make it even stronger and attack everyone with different arm slides, righty, lefty. I mean, imagine an 8-9 combination of Aroldis Chapman and Camilo Doval, lefty-righty.
Would love it.
That shortens the game. That means your starter doesn't need to go 6 or 7. He can go 5 or 6, and then you can bring in Taylor Rogers or John Brebbia or Ryan Walker. You can bring in Scott Alexander when he comes back. And then if it's elite and you're up to the 8th and you have Chapman and Doval, it's game over.
Yeah.
So that's the other way to look at it.
Carlos Ramirez, everybody. Giants pre- and post-game on NBC Sports Bay Area. Check on them, too, tonight. Looking all dapper next to Laura Britt and Randy Wynn. Carlos, man, you're the man. Keep doing a great job. Giants, big one there. Got to win the series there up in Toronto.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you both. Love you both. You're kicking ass in the mornings. I hear you guys every single morning. You know this. I love you both.
Thank you.
Keep it up. I appreciate your kind words. Yeah, it's been fun. We're going to be on live today again. Nice. It's going to be a good one. Keaton Wynn started for the Giants facing Chris Bassett, who has been horrible as of late, but he is a good pitcher. 8 different movements, so it should be a good one up in Toronto. And then we go to the Mets. And then it's 4th of July week, so it should be fun.
There it is. Go. Get you and Laura in studio one of these days, man. Carlos Ramirez, everybody. As we talk some Giants here, big game for them. We haven't talked. Look, that was a lackluster loss yesterday. It was just like. Well,
I got a text. I'm not going to disclose who was texting.